Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the Ride Boundless podcast.
Of course.
I started doing the intro music. I've been explaining this a lot lately, but I just think it's one of the coolest fucking features that exists. Boom, boom. My buddy Alex Torres, one of my best friends for like 20 years, he made it for me, so I always want to give him a shout out. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I
Appreciate
feel very
you having us
welcome.
on.
No, thank you for being here. Where are you guys originally from? And what's going on with both? And what's going on with your LA trip that you guys been posting in and out and testing burgers and fucking fries and
Well, it comes from this thing where, me and Zaid actually grew up as pretty much to become best friends. We both are Middle Eastern. He's Jordanian. I am full Palestinian, both my parents.
Very nice.
Born in Fountain Valley, California, actually. We reside in Corona, California. That's where the 2 a.m. podcast actually takes place.
Corona.
6th Street, baby. But yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's in Corona. I'm in Long Beach. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So how do you guys make that work? So real quick, you just said you do the 2 a.m. podcast. How do you guys introduce yourself? And how long? What episode are you on? And how long you've been doing this?
Well, the 2 a.m. podcast actually started in the early beginnings of COVID-19.
Before the China virus.
Yes, exactly.
China.
Before that Chinese crap we heard about.
Yeah.
Just whatever, affecting some people. But,
some people.
Some people.
yeah, we decided to have a podcast. This is something that I personally have been working on for like a very long time. The 2 a.m. podcast concept. Every time I've ever finished a hangout at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., the type of person I was I always took something out of that conversation with my homies. That's essentially like the root of podcasting. Coming in, with the form of practice of listening to daily podcasts. Joe Rogan was a big thing. Things like that. I kind of just got a hint. Joe Rogan, you heard?
I think so. It sounds
Might
familiar.
bring something
Continue.
up.
I'll Google him after.
Calls
this.
himself an experience. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, we caught up and we were like, we can do this. I think that we are unique enough to kind of just, formulate thoughts, shower thoughts, whatever they may be, and just kind of expand on them with 1, 2, 3 people, whatever you need. And I kind of just saw Zaid as perfect fitting because we can always have civil discourse. I disagree with half the things he has to say sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember the moment we started it. We went to Panini Cafe. Have you ever been?
Panini Cafe. The one right here on Ventura?
There should be one here.
There's that. Oh no, that one. Yeah, there is a Panini Cafe, but yeah, I think it's called something Tazakian something. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, basically we got together as a trio. Logan, who actually left the podcast later on, we got together and just realized that it was something that made sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about certain things, certain subjects on our own, and it only makes sense to create a podcast and ultimately just be consistent with it.
Yeah,
because we know we could create something.
And I come from a background of like cinematography, video production, so I was always
Which was going to be my next question. Yeah,
the guerrilla filmmaking type of thing. You kind of have your own one rig with a bunch of lenses, and you go out and shoot whatever it is: weddings, engagement videos, personal lifestyle. I got in touch with models. You do all these kinds of things until you're suddenly into music videos. And I realized that after doing it for so long, there was this part that I hated about it, and I was starting to hate the whole craft. Podcasting, because it took place during the night, it kind of helped me. Podcasting is like a group therapy session, in a sense.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So it helps you kind of balance out your day thoughts. So it helped me really shift my inner philosophy of why I like filmmaking to begin with. And I should expand more on filmmaking, not so much a business. I should be doing something else for business.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I just saw the 2 a.m. podcast just helping me be a better person for the people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's being a voice and sharing and having ideas. I tell people I love doing this because the fact that I get to have people like you sitting here and I can kindly ask you to, shut your phone off, put that fucker on silence and have a conversation. It's an experience that you just don't have in today's society.
Absolutely.
I just told you, Alex, that made the music. He's a great friend of mine, but funny story is that for 20 fucking years we've known each other. We meet up every 3 to 6 months. Yo, what's up? What's up? Hey, what's going on? Hey, nothing much. Hey, how's your mom? My mom's good. So, hi. Okay, cool. Hey, bro, we should do something. Yeah, we should do something. Why don't we fucking next time we meet, we'll do something. Okay, let's do something.
Yeah.
6 months later, same conversation. And we've been doing this for 20 fucking years. One day he came over and he's like, hey, bro, what podcast equipment do you have? And I go, wow, I have the headphones. I have this, that. He goes, look, I'm thinking about doing something, but I don't want the headphones. And I was like, dude, it's a game changer. It's important.
It really is.
And he's like, nah, I don't know. I go, bro, look, you want to record an episode? He goes, all right. We recorded a 2.5 hour episode. We had one of the most deepest conversations we've ever had in 20 fucking years, just because of the setup. And this focus. And the thing is that we live in such a fast-paced life that people don't appreciate these moments. Or to do this outside of a podcast almost seems impossible, if not impossible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that makes all the fucking sense.
It truly does. I feel like whenever you see a problem in society, the environment, whatever it is, these are signs that people are screaming for help, in a sense. Right?
Yeah.
And we don't tell people what to do, essentially, because that's the wrong form of thing, right? There's a reason why a lot of people hate religion.
Right.
People back away from it. It's because it's just brought up in this form of good, bad. It's never like, there's no storytelling involved.
It's all judgmental.
It's all judgmental. It's just like, look at that guy. It's comparison. It's a lot of things. And, look up any religion in the world and it tells you, don't judge.
Right. But judge.
Yeah, but judge, though.
Yeah. Judge this, judge that. Don't do that, don't do this, or otherwise you will be judged. Mm-hmm. But you should judge others.
Yeah, because taxes. Judge. Yeah, because taxes, just
crazy.
Yeah, the thing I wrestle with right now is that we push a lot of short-form content, but we want to transition people into the long-form content. Like, if we have a 2.5 hour episode, we want people to listen to that. I just think it's so tough within the society where it's all just clickbait, short-form, 2-second attention spans. So that's the thing I think we both wrestle with. Even with like my own personal life, I have a phone addiction. I have a serious phone addiction.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it in order to move the needle in other areas. So that's something that's always...
Yeah, one thing that I started seeing about that phone addiction that I was falling into is, I want to say it was Andrew Tate. I think he said it, but he was saying something along the lines, or somebody was saying something along the lines is, you have two people using the phone. You have content creators and you have people just consuming, content. Mm-hmm. And, don't be a consumer, be a creator. And that's where I was like, oh, I get that. Fucking done. So that helped me a lot where I'm kind of like off it. Like if I'm on it, I'm posting. The other thing is that's been helping me out, especially for fitness wise, is the only place I watch TikTok is on a Stairmaster.
Really?
Oh, dude, I'll knock out 30 minutes. I've knocked out 60 minutes just because I'm watching. Oh, what? That's fucking crazy. And the thing turns off, and I'm like, oh, shit. Because, bro, come on. How many times do you sit on TikTok at night and fucking, like, you're like an hour and a half, 2 hours? I had somebody on the podcast, Bagger Society, Irving, and he says, bro, I was one time on TikTok so long that I got a notification from TikTok saying you should probably take a break. And I was like, I've never heard of anybody say that.
That's a real thing?
I was like, how long were you on? He's like, dude, long. I go, like, how long? He goes, like, 5-6 hours. And I got a notification. And this guy works full time, and he has a YouTube channel, but he was stuck like that. I was like,
I'm just in pure shock.
Bro, that's insane.
But it's easy to fall into. That's the thing.
It's easy. So that's what I'm saying. If you get onto like a bicycle, an exercise machine, or a elliptical, or whatever, a fucking my favorite thing is the fucking Stairmaster.
Yeah,
dude, time flies.
Yeah,
time flies, and you're just cover the clock. I promise you'll do 20-30 minutes, no problem.
I'm gonna try that. Actually, I really hate the Stairmaster.
And then, it's terrible. It's fucking. It's one of the hardest ones.
Yeah. So keeping your brain in check is just one of the toughest things for that. So you just hop off. I'm like, I'm gonna go bench.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, but podcasting is just so fucking thing. But what do you guys think about how competitive it is? Do you think it's ridiculously competitive, or you know what? There's so many people in the world anyways that it doesn't even matter.
I'll tell you this. I've thought about it a lot, and you go through like imposter syndrome a lot because you're like, it's too saturated, and then you're like, no, but not enough people listen yet. I know the community's small, still, you know. Seeing how many podcasts just haven't posted episodes in a while that I used to follow, just up and quit. And I'm like, okay, doesn't seem like it's growing. It might just, you might have new startups, but I don't see it growing. And now it's becoming this thing where it's just, there's a lot of potential. And I think podcasting goes beyond the topics. I think it goes past that, and it's more about the environment, the voices, the type of guests you have on, the aura or the vibe. You know, it's all about that. It's hearing the room. How do you set up your audio? Things like that. So I don't know if you know this, but we set up our mixer so that you can really hear the room. And how did I do that? The way I shift Zaid, I'm going to have his vocals kind of come in from where he's realistically sitting in the camera frame. That makes sense.
Right.
So, and then I'll compress his voice to his voice, and I'll compress my voice to my voice. I'm not going to use the same settings for everybody. So it's just like little details. And then people throw in comments like, I really want to respond to you guys in the episode, you know? And I'm like, well, I kind of wanted that, you know? I want you to feel like you're sitting there.
Yeah.
And really joining us. And I think that's the whole point of a podcast. Because if you're chasing success, you most likely do not have time to be hanging out with loved ones, or for that matter, just people that you care about or like to hang out with. So you seek other ways of fitting in kind of like that same nurture with the limited time you have. So you listen to podcasts. And if you find the right podcasts, you will find the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I've never approached it from the standpoint of like competing with others. It's always been competing with ourselves.
Yeah.
I come from a
No, that's a great. I respect that. That's awesome. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but my question was more towards like how do you see this market? You know, like from when you guys started to when you're doing it now, continuing. How do you see it? You know, because some people are saying it's fucking saturated. Some people are saying exactly what you're saying, where it's like there's what do you call it? Elephant graveyards full of fucking podcasts right now. There's times that I'm thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? This makes no fucking sense, man. And then you hear stuff like, well, China's starting to get into podcasts. You're like, oh, that sounds very racist. I like that. Why are you laughing, bro?
I don't think the majority of big investors are into podcasting as of yet. So I think there's still a lot of opportunity. We're starting to see a lot of progress within that area, but this is the bet that we made with each other. It's like we're going to keep going until that point it really hits like a full inflection point.
Yeah.
So it's just on our end, it's just the consistency. We want to make sure that we create something and become good enough at it to the point where we can take advantage of any opportunity that's available.
Right. Right.
Easily, I think some of my best work, or the work that's been recognized, has been things that I've done just for myself.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So, like, you can always take that kind of system and just apply it everywhere else. So as long as you like podcasting and you do it to do it, it's awesome. You know? I mean, I'm sure everyone here on the table has other sources of income. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be just primarily focused on podcasts, but podcasts help us with, like I said, our daily balance. Yeah, in a way, you're letting things out.
It keeps us grounded.
You're talking about ideas, you know, and that's what that's what men are about. You know, we're focused on physical. I understand that because it's like the first appearance, but like what's beyond that? It's the mind. If we're not practicing the mind, and like one of the ways to do that is to just have a balanced mind by discussing ideas. And if we don't do that, we're fucked.
Yeah. That's an excellent point. I wonder what would be the percentage of because you're right, we're very physical. We're very like pick up rock, smash dinosaur. We didn't exist during the dinosaurs. I'm kidding, but
equal
like
rights, equal fights.
Yeah, fucking let's box fight. Whatever, survival.
I get you.
But we are now at a place where it's like you do need that mental feed, education, audible book, podcast, stimulation. Like we fucking need that. I want to know how much more it is now compared to like men back in the days, like in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Which is weird too, because back then they didn't fucking talk about anything. It was like hold your feelings, you fucking pussy. You know. Now it's like talk. Now it's like I don't know. It's too extreme, but
it's different. I mean, I also believe in like being up to date with the times. Being a man back then is not really the same as today. I mean, we're not really fighting a war per se by force right now. So
right.
We're chilling.
Well, we kind of.
Well, it's a different time.
What type
We're
of war?
supposed to fight a war right now, but we're kind of not because we're told to like stand down as we're getting fucking ran over. Like, like Andrew Tate just got banned, and I started watching more of his videos, and I was like, dude, this guy makes a lot of fucking sense. Dude. And then I was watching this other chick, and she was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, men made the world. And now that men made the world, we're kind of like shitting on it. And we're regulating men, and we're telling men to stop being men, and men can't do this. And if you're too masculine, we look down upon it. That was one thing. Andrew Tate made the point of it's kind of fucked up because they want us to like stand down. But if I act out, who do they call? They're going to call cops. And when the cops come, who do they want? They want a fucking alpha male to control the fucking situation.
Yep.
So they're using us to build everything, but then they don't want us to be ourselves and hold our fucking emotions. And his shit's making more sense now that he's been banned than ever than before. And I don't know where you guys stand on this, Maybe you guys are like, fuck you. Yeah. But
here's how I see it. All right. We can, like men and women, we can both build strategies. But at the end of the day, if the man's going to have to execute, then I'm going to go with my strategy anyway. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You just tuck it.
Yeah.
Tuck it away.
Dude,
it was good.
My mom said this one time. She was like, women are acting women are acting strange. She has a big Cuban accent. Mm-hmm. And she's like, women can't do the same thing as a man. Example, a woman says, I can drive a truck cross country. And my mom was like, no, she cannot. She can drive the truck cross country, but when she gets a flat tire, who the fuck's going to change that tire? Mm-hmm. She's not going to jack up the fucking truck and take off the fucking 18 bolts and pull the tire out. But no, so that's what we're talking about. There is a fucking difference. Mm-hmm. And the more and more we talk about it, the less we're supposed to talk. I don't know, bro.
It doesn't make sense. The thing is like, you have sisters. I have sisters. So it's like I'm not speaking out of my ass. It's just more of like the things I have come to realize from that, right? Nothing new here, but we all know ourselves. If you get hit with the harsh truth, you're going to most likely defend yourself. That's where it comes from. It's just, but I get it. It's kind of like, you could do the action, but like, can you survive the action?
Yeah, this has always been my mentality. It's just crazy. Like, listen, men are good at certain things, women are good at certain things. There's a reason why these quote-unquote gender roles have existed for millennia, ever since humanity started, right? So as long as we stick within those guidelines, sure, some people will deviate, but those are the exceptions, and the exceptions don't prove the rule. I think it's mostly about viewing both of the genders as just complementary.
Right.
Because if we constantly butt heads and have this war with each other, nothing is going to get fucking accomplished.
Right.
What do you think is the true issue? Like the real thing that's causing this, we can call it a war on men and women, or war on men, whatever you want to call it. And it's, what do you truly think is causing that? And I feel like it's more younger people that are generating this kind of rowdiness, because truly people that are chasing success or, trying to stay busy, they truly don't have time to even do that. I'm just trying to pursue someone, trying to pursue something because I am a pursuant. I'm not going to sit here and just social media my life and then talk about men don't do this, women don't do that. It's kind of like,
well, those are trolls. Nobody cares about the trolls.
Yes.
Like, fuck them.
But I feel like it's just also media attention is on such a younger crowd that it feels like they are just the older generation, but they're not.
Yeah.
You get me? There's just no lens on the older people right now. The only thing if you flip the opposite of that, you'll just hear Elon all day. Yeah. Elon didn't do this. Elon pulled out. Elon.
Yeah, there's. I think there's some government aspect of it. I've said this many times, but the government's always trying to divide us. All right, Christian, Jew, 90210 versus 91604, 818 versus 213, blue versus red, Democrat versus Republican, fucking L.A. County versus L.A. City. Like they try to divide us so much. In America, as soon as you turn 18, move the fuck out of your house. Why? Like, what the fuck? Like, what? It's not better to support your family and do that? Yeah. No, move that. We have this thing. The public school system, you put a child in public school, you have no say on how you raise your kid now. This kid's being raised that if your mom speaks back to you, your dad speaks back to you, call the cops. They'll pull them out. Yep. Wives are told or women are told if your husband touches you, fucking leave his ass. Don't try to work it out no, just leave his ass. Call the cops. We'll take him away. We'll put you on Section 8. We'll give you food stamps. We'll support you. So there is a master plan of dividing us, because if they divide us, they can't, there's no threat. They can control us a lot easier. Where imagine if we were all brothers, I'm talking about all of LA, and somebody fucked with my neighborhood, and who's fucked with your neighborhood? And all the neighbors gathered together like, hey, fuck you. You can't fuck. This is our neighborhood.
This is a strong force.
That's a strong force. Yeah. But if you look at everything, we're so fucking divided. And I'm talking about like, dude, look what happened. I'll tell you something hilarious right now. You guys just walked in. I was like, fuck, they're wearing black shirts. I'm wearing a fucking green tie-dye shirt. Let me change my shirt. Because I was like, brothers,
Yeah.
So,
hell yeah.
How stupid is that?
But that's being a dude. That's like at your natural core. You're just being a dude like that. You be excited like that. And that's it's missing. We're just like, no, you got to be fucking this and that.
But then it's fucked up because we're being attacked, because the other half that I think to the question is I don't want to sound like a nagger or a fucking like, it's not fair, but it's just so fucking weird that if I work out and I'm feeling good and strong and I'm like, I'm feeling good and strong, it's funny because I get the vibes. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I get vibes where like, women are like, look at this fucking this
there's
fucking
definitely
kid.
that.
There's that. But if I was wearing a fucking pink glitter shirt and it was like, hey, I fucking finished working out, rooted. Yeah.
Let's get ice cream.
High five,
Equality.
Same thing.
Forth.
If I get like a big monster truck and fucking off-road tires and fucking, a crazy suspension and put rifles on it, stickers on it, people are going to be like, this motherfucker's crazy. Yeah, fucking Trump. But if it was hot purple or whatever, and I honked the horn, it was like, beep, 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 whatever the case is, they would support that. And it's weird because, dude, I it's fucking strange times.
It is.
Yesterday, I'm going to say one more thing. Maybe I shouldn't even say this, but I was at Trader Joe's yesterday. And it was all women in there, right? And usually there was like a time where I'd be like, "Oh, I'm fucking at Trader Joe's with all the hot Trader Joe's the store. I love this place." But like it was that like, look at that fucking man. Like I felt like I was hated in there. It was so fucking weird. But I was like, I never wanted to get out of somewhere. And I didn't even want to look at anybody. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out. I don't even feel comfortable here. This is like,
that's just generally how I feel at any grocery store. I just want to get in and get out.
Yeah, but like
I've never felt that. Yesterday was really hardcore.
Yeah, and energy's a thing. I believe that 100%. So if you feel it, it most likely was true.
Yeah.
Now there is that other percentage where it's just like maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Yeah.
You get me? And
there's that too. There's that too.
But like the fact that I sense it sometimes, it's kind of creepy. Like it's just, and it's a little overboard, a little too much.
I think it's a little overboard, but I had that feeling yesterday where I was like, I'm not even gonna look at nobody because this is like one of those fucking places, like you fucking pig, like what the fuck?
Like I'm just being a man shopping.
Yeah, what exactly? I'm just being a man shopping, but like I was like, I'm dude, literally, I was like, like I swear, it felt so bad that I was like, if there was. Like, if there was a major flood that randomly happened in Studio City, I wouldn't help anybody. I wouldn't help. I'd look for brothers. Like, yo, bro, you need help? Hey, come here, give me women, help. No, sorry, miss. I ain't touching you. Like, dude, I'm not fucking. You're going to sue me. You're going to fucking sue me.
I've said this before, but I swear to God, after COVID, even my neighbors changed. Like, I was telling Zaid this, like, I don't know, a couple episodes before, but essentially, I would walk out of my house, and if I saw my neighbor and you said hi, they just run back inside like, oh my God, what am I what am I doing?
Yeah.
Freak out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? I remember working retail some part of my life, and I will always remember this forever, but I was the collector of customer award letters because people would go out of their way and be like, this guy's sick. He helped me out. He did that. I'm just like, bro, this is just a shitty job. Like, you know? And that made me realize that I'm a people's person. You know, like I will go out of my way if it essentially eases your life in some sort of way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I will take big ideas and make them small. I'll make it easy for you. I feel like that's my superpower in a sense.
That's an awesome superpower.
Right?
Yeah.
But going back to like the larger scheme of things, I think people have lost three things. Number one, curiosity. So they're not willing to learn about certain subjects or other things. Number two is context. They're not willing to look at the full picture, take a 30,000-foot view of like an actual subject. And then three is nuance. They don't understand that, listen, this is not a black and white world. It's all gray. And you have to combine those three elements to then come out with a wise answer, so to speak. And people have lost that, which is really frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think about like of why it's happening, and what comes to mind is like we're in a system where you have to choose a team.
Yep.
And that's the problem. You have to choose a team. It's not, it's you have guns, Trump. You know, you don't like guns, non-Trump. You see the mailboxes, fuckers. And I don't know why this is going off because this is on silent. But that's the problem, is that people don't do their own research and people just think they have to fucking pick teams, and it's absurd.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna, it'd be awesome to figure out the solution to that, but I don't think it's possible.
You want to hear
I think
something?
this is the solution to that. Just podcasting in general.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
Here, in Islam, when Islam was first introduced, here's the crazy thing. The first word to ever come down on earth was iqra, which means read. It didn't specify what, right?
It was just reading.
Religious people like to do things like take everything literally and just be like, yeah, it means read the Quran. No. It literally means read. So what does read mean, essentially? Expand your knowledge.
Yeah.
So it all starts from there. If you know me well enough, you know I like to get to the root of everything. So it's like, how is whiskey truly made? How do we get to an aluminum sheet? Right? To some people, the aluminum sheet is the root. No, I want before that.
Yeah.
You get me? So it's like, it's a good form of practice to think that way, I think, because it will always keep you curious in some sort of way.
Yeah.
And if you're curious, you're going to ask a lot of questions. Those questions will lead you to the right people, to the right books, and before you know it, just playing that game, you're already more knowledgeable and like 7 chapters ahead than the rest of the world.
Oh, of course.
Which is insane. So that's the real practice, bro. Y'all can just like flex Lamborghinis all day. It doesn't do me any good if you can't communicate.
Right.
You're just this image. Great.
I had my old general manager. I used to work for a TV station, Univision, selling commercials and stuff like that. And my GM, he came in very smart. Great episode, highly recommendable. Entrepreneur, businessman, fucking university degrees, broadcast, and then all in Spanish network, and doesn't even speak Spanish. Fucking guy's amazing. Yeah. But he had this communication story that I love, which was there's a guy in front of his house, and he's trying to move a very large refrigerator. So he's like kind of pushing and leaning and no luck,
Yeah.
And this random dude's walking, and he's seeing him struggle. He's like, hey, bro, can I help you move the refrigerator? He goes, I'd greatly appreciate it. So one guy gets on one side, the other guy gets on the other side. They do a 3-2-1 count, 3-2-1. They lift up, push. They can't budge it, drop it, okay? They do a 3-2-1 count. They do this 2-3 times. They can't fucking budget. And the guy on the street says, dude, there's no way we're getting this into your house. And the other guy's like, into my house? I'm trying to get it out of my house. So they were pushing against each other, right?
Wow.
Communication.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's his communication. Yeah. Communication. It's that simple.
You're both able. That's That's a really good example. I like that.
Dude, especially in intimate relationships, that's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you live with somebody or you share your most intimate experiences with, you have to talk about a lot of things, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's, you know,
And that's what it is. And what does that shift into? Uncomfortable is
it
the
translates.
Right.
But that one's a little different because let me just pull this up.
Well, do you think that everyone would have their own philosophy on that?
Have you guys read this?
Oh, it's one of my favorite books, man.
Zaid has.
Yeah.
I recommend that book to every guy.
Oh, 100%. The Way of the Superior Man. Like that fucking book is like, it's interesting because there's things of like, if your wife asks you for something, understand she doesn't want you to do that thing. And as a superior man, you should know she doesn't want you to do that thing. And by doing that thing, you think you're doing the nice thing, but that's being weak. She's just going to be disappointed that you did that. So the point of the book is like, there is a code, you know, like if you're, I just finished a chapter right now, and it literally said, if you're frustrated with your significant other and you're like, bitch, how come you don't just fucking tell me what you want? Why don't you just say that? And why are you saying other things instead of that? It's you're a weak man.
Yeah.
If you can't divide that difference, you know, you're a weak man in the sense of we have to become superior and understand this mind game. And it's a test. And they do it, you know, unconsciously. They're just like, oh, yeah, you know, go out with your friends. You know, if you don't go out with your friends, if you go out with your friends, there's going to be a little bit more respect. She's going to be pissed, but there's going to be a little bit more respect. But at the same time, she's saying, don't go out with your friends. But then if you don't do it because she said, go with your friends, and she meant not to do it.
You didn't resist.
You didn't resist. You obeyed.
It's what they call a shit test.
Boom.
Yeah,
Only obey to God.
Damn right, motherfuckers. Damn.
Yeah, I think the whole reason behind it is I think the woman in that scenario is just testing the man to see how strong he is,
Right.
see whether he has boundaries, whether he has a good character, and like you said, it's implicit. Like it's always subconscious, and that's a big one men need to understand because a lot of guys do not understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and like, dude, I'm looking into it, and I've been in a long-term relationship, and I'm like, oh, fucking felt that one, felt that. Fuck, when like
Haven't we all?
It's a great book. It's a great book. Going back to your guys' podcast, I'm a solo show, as you can see. How is it? You guys started with 3. How is it working with 2? Does it accommodate? And how do you do this being in Corona and in Long Beach? Because that's a good, 45-minute drive?
It's a decent drive.
It's like about an hour.
And then your studio's in Corona, so you got to get your guests to Corona?
So at the moment, we're actually transitioning. So we did have a studio in Fullerton.
Yeah.
So that commute for him was solid. It was like 20 minutes back for me and him. But ever since then, nobody knows this, but our building owner was giving us issues. The building was collapsing, essentially.
Such a shitty building.
Really old building. Did the job for a while, so we kind of just held off on the guests. We're going to be moving in quite soon, within the next 2 months, to a new place. But right now we're at my parents' old master bedroom upstairs that I converted.
I don't think you could say master bedroom anymore.
Damn, I'm
Watch out for
honestly.
getting canceled.
How dare you, bro? What
So
I'm
sorry.
kidding. You could say whatever the
I'm
fuck you
so-
want, but
So
Yeah, dude, it's the Ride Boundless podcast.
yeah, God,
bro.
yeah, be
damn it.
boundless. No,
Anyway,
yeah, but a buddy of mine that does all the real estate around here, he's like, we can't use that as a terminology for fucking post or real estate or listings.
Really?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
but I know there's other terms in real estate where you're allowed to say that. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you know this, but if a neighborhood is dominantly black, there's a code word for that house in real estate. Like if it's being
Really?
sold.
Yeah,
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like yellow flag, like it had like a weird zoning thing where,
Yeah,
where
but
it wasn't just black. It was like Hispanics or
But
any
Yeah.
considered minority group.
Exactly.
In
No,
that neighborhood?
but there was one I specifically remember in the law book.
But
I
took
think
a
a
picture
picture
that
of
was
this 'cause I
old
was-
school. Oh yeah,
No, it is an old school thing, but it's still being used till this day for some reason, at least in the book.
yeah.
So that kind of surprised me. Something I didn't know.
I'm sure there's so much stupid things, but the
Yeah.
big, you see, the thing is the trolls pick on the easy stuff, you know. So a term from a book on real estate from the 70s or 60s or 50s, they're like they don't get into that. But when like they're looking at their house and I want to get a new apartment, this is the master bedroom.
God forbid.
I'm suing you and blah blah blah. Like it's so fucking stupid, dude.
Immediately.
It's so stupid. But I'm sorry. So so you guys were your parents' master bedroom.
Yeah, so they gladly let us use it in the meantime. So I converted the whole thing.
That's
and
awesome.
pretty much nobody can tell.
Nobody can.
If my fans are here, nobody can tell, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah. So from there,
Yeah, but in terms of making it work, I mean, I just make the drive. I have no problem with
No,
it.
so the drive, you just make it, no problem. Guest, usually you guys figure it out. How is it working?
Together?
Yeah, together. Do
Yeah.
you guys see yourself pushing each other a lot?
so yeah, since I am more of the creative person, I kind of shift things around a lot, and I'll get like his opinion for some things, because I like to run it by him too, because he still is my partner, obviously. He gives me full control, pretty much, for creativity.
Yeah,
but
because that's what you do. You're good at it.
yeah, he's like, I trust it. I don't care. He just looks at it as a whole.
yeah.
For him, I would kind of just be like, yo, what do you think of this draft I'm writing up? And he'd be like, let me look at it. Boom, switches it up for you. And now it's like social media fitting or whatever it is. So Zaid's helping me a lot with writing. He's helping me a lot with social media. He's helping me a lot with like kind of like scheduling.
So you guys
what's the-
accommodate each other.
Yeah, we do. So he's
It's
doing
actually
more
the
of the
perfect
marketing,
plug.
and it's actually the perfect plug because we're just like this. I feel like I'm one whole person.
Right.
If Zaid is there or not, I'm one whole person. And it's just like when Zaid is there, it's just more like he's the power bank, and now we're just unstoppable.
Like, I'll give you an example. We will record an episode, and we always post clips, especially right after the episode. So he'll pump out the editing, he'll put them on a drive, and then once those are uploaded to the drive, I will take them and distribute them to every platform.
Yeah, so you should see it.
Immediately.
It's pretty sick. Like I literally just finish AirPods,
Done.
move shit around.
And that's our system.
Yeah,
It works.
to go. 4 clips right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent my whole life actually just like perfecting editing to the point where it's just like, dude, you can burst out so much in a day and people won't even complain about the quality or the edit or anything. People will say phenomenal edit, if anything. That was hilarious. Took me 3 minutes.
That's fucking
To some
amazing.
people, it'll just be like, I mean, mine is the rendering time, obviously, but like,
Right, the rendering times
Yeah.
what always gets you.
you get me, like, you're quick on your fingers, you're like more in tune with the timeline, It's just, everything about the suite. It's perfect. And yeah, I feel like me and Zaid are doing a good job in terms of like how fast we can get things out.
Yeah.
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 You're almost to episode 100. What do you think your biggest struggle is with your own setup here? If you have one.
It's definitely a lot easier than when I started. Because when I started, I had somebody helping me out, and they were doing all the designs. So if you look at the first few posts, they're fucking super clean and sick and beautiful. Mm-hmm. Then it got really sloppy, and that was me trying to figure it out. And now I feel confident of my system.
Yeah.
Same thing, my edits. I used to hate it. I think I was calculating roughly, like, it was taking me like 9 hours an episode to get a hold of a person, bring them in, clear all the SD cards, do the backgrounds, do the lighting, host it, talk about it,
Yeah.
fucking pull out the SD cards, fucking, downloading everything, editing it,
It's a lot of transfer.
rendering,
From
transporting
thought
it,
to finished product.
social media, post, marketing, tags, description. I'm doing what you both are doing.
Yeah.
But all in one.
Yeah.
So it started getting daunting. But now I'm like, oh, dude, this is like I feel confident in my system.
You fit
So-
it. You fit it into your life.
Yeah. So the thing that I would like to do is I do want to build like a team, and I want to start putting people to do certain things, and I want to focus more on the sales and marketing, and
Yeah.
do what do you call it? A media book or media.
Media outlet agency.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Media list?
No. It's what you send to clients. It's like a proposal of how many listeners, a media kit.
Yeah, there we go.
A media kit, like how many listeners, how many downloads, how many videos, guests that you've had on the podcast, For X amount, there's these shout outs for X amount, multiple shout outs for X amount, social media shout outs, website, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do want to work on the media kit. That's the number one. And number two is I do want to I think if I get one person, I'll multiply what the podcast is doing times 5.
Yeah.
And
Usually how it goes.
Yeah, and if I get 2 people, then I'll multiply it for at least like 10, 15, because then they'll know people, and But honestly, in many ways, I've been pretty lucky. Like a lot of things just kind of been falling.
I love that. That's why I say, like, if you just do the good for the sake of you enjoying it, good will happen, and it's only good. You know
it's
what I mean?
only
like
good.
I've seen like your list of guests, and they're all incredible. There wasn't one where I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Like even the cooking one with Amira.
Yeah,
I listened to like 30 minutes of that.
Yeah, she's fucking cool, man.
It was sick. Like,
all interesting cats.
yeah. So every person was interesting in their own way, and you're riding boundless, bro.
Which is another thing. Which actually, I'll do this on the podcast, but just to pick you guys' brains because you guys have so many more episodes than I do in your experience.
Sure.
So one of my dilemmas is, I love the Ride Boundless podcast because it's Ride Boundless. I love motorcycles, as you can see. That's my thing. But my conversations have started to get more intricate. Like before. It's awesome. You guys just came on because usually I'd get people to tell me, hey, man, I don't ride a motorcycle. I'm like, well, it's not just motorcycles. It's so much more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it's motorcycles. I go, it's not. So I've had two kinds of people. I have had people that didn't want to be on this because they thought it was just motorcycles or about motorcycles and they didn't do any riding. Or I've had people that say, hey, I don't want to listen to it because I'm not into motorcycles and blah, blah, blah. So then I was like, I better change it. So my LLC is Live Boundless.
Oh, sick.
And I was like, maybe I could switch it to Live Boundless. And I did switch it to Live Boundless for like 2-3 episodes. But then I would get like silly things. Maybe I took it too personal, but they're like, hey, bro, I love the Live Boundless podcast. I'm like, Live Boundless. They're like, Live Boundless. I'm like, it's the same fucking word, bro. But like, because it's it's a podcast.
You don't want people to be confused with that.
And then I'm like, I'm changing it back to Ride Boundless, you assholes.
It was doing better.
It was doing better. It sounded cooler, But now I'm back to like, do I go back to Live Boundless? Because Live Boundless is pretty much fucking anything. Let's go skydiving. Let's go, ride bikes. Let's go fucking RVs, whatever the case is.
It's more of the idea behind it. It's just just based off the title, I assume one of your top values is freedom, right?
Yeah.
So whatever gets you to that goal, and however you can express that with other people, I think that would explain a lot of it. But a lot of people, for some reason, just can't see that. They can't like read in between the lines or read in deeper than just the surface.
Yeah,
which is frustrating.
And it's funny because I come to you telling you this issue, right? But as you're explaining it, I'm like, fuck them. How about that? Like, fuck them.
Because
like,
it's not an issue.
Because the number one thing that prevents people from getting anything done is yourself. We're always like, oh, if I don't have the right mic and if I don't have the right lens and if I don't have the right equipment, I'm not going to do it. And we create these excuses for ourselves. And we do this so much that we're like, fuck, time's just continuously going, which we were talking before the podcast. Mm-hmm. And if we continue this, like, it's not like if we don't do it, we're going to stop time and time's going to wait for us. If we don't do it, the time's going to pass and we're just going to have that regret. Yeah. And when you're complicating it on what people think or don't think, that becomes a fucking problem.
Yeah.
So thank you for answering my question with
somehow it
your
works.
Silly response. No, I'm kidding. Fuck those people is the point.
Asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's something resonating these days, and like Andrew Tate did something, and this goes past like who Andrew Tate is, but what Andrew Tate did and the amount of clout he was able to get from this very short amount of time, listening to his words past like the whole like stuff. Like the actual, like him, it's like you're sitting with an old school wise guy that has figured it out. He's seeing it and he's warning you. That's all it is. And like, I just wanted that to be heard on the air because he's misinterpreted, I think, by
100%.
the majority.
And it's so easy to do it with him.
Yeah. But this goes beyond, like, I feel like in our direct life, anyone that's listening to this is going to be thinking about their day right now, probably. You know, they're going to be thinking about, like, this traffic that they're in or the walk that they're on right now. But, like, if we expand and see the world for the world rather than just the United States of America, look at what the good people are doing, look at what the bad people are doing, and you know who to follow, essentially. I mean, even health guidelines, my man, are insane. Like, the amount of things that we have approved here blows my mind. Like, I don't know how we're not just walking cancer sticks at this point.
Yeah.
But, like, even down to the water, bro, I don't know. I can complain so much about that. But, like, traveling. We all travel. I tell people to travel all the time because it unlocks you. You are jailbroken as a human if you do that. Most of the problems we see, I'm just taking this out of today's podcast here. Most of the things we see today are nothing but lack of education. It's
And
a decline.
experience.
And experience.
And experience and exploring and curiosity.
And I think the highest form of education is experience. It's to see with your own, right? So that's why you get an engineer.
But I think that's the problem, which I was talking about earlier, that I didn't get too entailed with. But I think that's where all this stuff's coming from. It's government trying to control us. It's government trying to limit us. So much so that I've said this on the podcast before, 70+% of Americans never been to the beach.
That's actually crazy. I know one of them. I know one person. I was like, yo, you down to go to the beach? He's like, I've never been. 70%. And I'm like, dude?
Of Americans have never been to the beach.
That's insane.
Check this one out. More than 60, I think it was 64%. I don't know exactly, but it was like 64% of people in East LA have never been to the beach. I used to live in Santa Cruz. You guys know where Santa Cruz is? Central Coast. Okay, 90 miles south of San Francisco. I knew multiple people that never been to San Francisco. It's an hour and a half ride. Never been in San Francisco.
What do you think that is?
It's control. It's here's credit card debt, and here's your car payment, and here's your fucking job, and show up, and don't travel, don't go over your mileage because your insurance is going to go up, and it's this fear that they create around us to not know.
You're in worry because you have things that don't belong to you.
You're so in worry.
You are literally, your life that is handed to you by your car, your house, whatever. You don't own yet. That's what people don't understand. What's funny is me and Zaid were talking about this on the ride here. But I was telling him I admire my uncles so much because they live in a country where there is no credit utilization. You don't have a credit score. You don't have any of that stuff. Everything you do is cash. That's all they believe in. So what do? They work their ass off, make
Their
whatever
cash.
amounts of money, and they can drive whatever the hell they want. So if they are driving that stuff, that means more to me than my neighbor getting an M4.
Right.
You get me? Because he worked his ass off. He paid that shit off. Like, the way they think and the amount of pressure they put on themselves comes nowhere close to the average American, in my eyes.
What's interesting is I've been to UAE, Qatar, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi and stuff. Well, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, so the same thing. In Qatar, they call the people that move to Qatar and start working there, they call them expats, if I remember correctly. So the expats that live there, if they get into any debt, that's it. They can't even leave the country. If you write a check, if you start using credit cards, if you get loans, store loans or something like that, and you're not paid off, and your mom has an emergency back home, and you want to fly out to visit her, you can't.
You cannot.
That's what we call slavery.
Yeah,
it's prison.
Yeah.
It's literally
and same thing. A job is slavery. I think again, Andrew Tate said it. He goes, back then the slaves had shelter and food. Now they have a little bit of freedom, but we just give them enough money to buy shelter and food. So you're still a fucking slave.
And by silence. Yeah.
And by silence, and you're convinced you're doing it. Which I'll add the other point of. There was an article that it was like the top 10 things that people regret on the dying bed when they're laying in their dying bed, their last few days. And number one was I didn't fucking quit my job. I wish I would have quit my job sooner. you know, because people get stuck in it for so long.
Yeah.
Number two was number two or number one. It was number two or number one, and then the other one was I didn't say to the people in my life I love them enough. You know, there was to my wife, to my kids, to my parents. I didn't tell them I love them. You know, those were the two biggest regrets that stood out from that fucking top 10.
That's
You
crazy. Out of everything in your life,
I wish I should have quit. I should have quit.
That's tragic, man, because you just get like, you know, how people always talk about how 40 years just flew by.
Yeah.
That's how. You spend all of your time in a job that you don't like. You're frustrated. You come home frustrated. If you have kids, it's even more obligation. And then to make matters even worse, you sit down on a couch every single night and just get this propaganda fed to your mind all day. It's like, okay, you can see how that happens very easily.
oh my God.
So I'm talking to my mom, and I go, Mommy, like, why does time, why does it feel like it flies so much? She goes, it's very simple. I go, what? She goes, we sleep 1/3 of our life.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
Nobody thinks about
Bro,
it.
dude,
Yeah.
we sleep 1/3 of our life, 8 hours, right? You sleep, supposedly, let's just say it's an average 8 hours.
Yeah.
That means in fucking 60 years, you slept for 20 fucking years? What the fuck?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No thoughts even come up. It just leaves a blank space.
Bro, like, and when she said it so casual, I was like, what? Like, it literally, like, explosions everywhere. But we sleep 1/3 of our life.
It's not to mention how much time you're driving.
My other favorite one with Andrew Tate, driving, everything else. He goes, there is nothing that has wasted a man's time more than a woman arguing with men. Mm-hmm. There has not been more wasted man time than men arguing pointless arguments with women.
And it's almost never about the thing that they're arguing.
Never.
Yeah.
Half the time it's, what did I do?
But if you start thinking about that, you know, you sleep 1/3 of your life. Driving, commuting, doing things you don't want to do, waiting for things you don't want to wait for, the DMV, you know, something like that. Like, dude, time is just so quick.
Here's the cool thing about cinematography. It slows down time.
It captures time.
Mm-hmm. So when you're setting up a shot, you're really paying attention to things that you know that most people are not looking at right now. And you're in a whole different world. Kind of like when you're on social media, you're not really in the first world anymore. You're right here. This is another place. You enter it, and you're like, okay, how are we going to set up this frame? We need more depth. So you start messing around with the lights. You do this. You add that. You take that out. And then suddenly, you're like, I spent 30 minutes, and I didn't even press record. But now it looks perfect. What did you do? You felt the shit out of those 30 minutes.
Yeah. The vibe, I will say, like, in terms of his work with cinematography, the vibe and energy he creates and infuses into his work is just something else.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, this is something every reel that you create is a banger. Even though people might not see it on Instagram, even though it might not blow up, like, I can see how proper the work is.
Yeah. Reels are fucking crazy too, man. Because I could put, like, my life into one reel, and I'm like, this is the one. And that thing
views.
does shit, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'll just do, like, my 3-year-old farted. Done. 2 seconds, fucking 10,000, whatever views. Like, the reels are weird, man.
kind of like that Arabs walking out of that glass cubicle, and then it shatters.
Bro, so...
I just randomly posted that.
He randomly... was it on...
TikTok, I think.
It was on TikTok, yeah. So we were thinking of a new clip to post on TikTok. We were thinking like, oh, you know, we'll create this specific subject and speak about it in depth. This guy
I was like,
finds a
shut
meme,
up here.
throws it onto TikTok, almost 200,000.
Wow.
And this guy's like, bro, you broke it. And I'm like, you want more memes?
I trust you for all memes now. He's repeated this time and time again with his memes, especially on
they've
YouTube
been a banger
Shorts.
every time. And I'm like, damn, I didn't know I was a memester, but...
Well, you're a fucking meme star, yeah.
I guess.
That's
it's
fucking
crazy.
It's a thing, but that's a fucking thing.
It
I'm
is.
being
Like, you
me.
can make a business card and put memester, and people are like, oh,
Yeah.
pleasure to meet you, sir. Like, you
It's
know,
it's literally crazy. It's how you carry it.
It's how you carry it. Yeah.
It's like, do you believe it yourself? If you don't believe it, you need some work to do. You know?
Yeah.
And then you go out there. But like, yeah, I was just always like, I always was ashamed of being funny
Yeah.
in a sense.
Ashamed of it.
Yeah, because like you live or
With your friends or family?
kind of everything, but I'll explain it. It was more like my father always taught me like, time and place, all that good stuff. So in my consideration, I took comedy off of like most places. So I was just like, when do I have the time to tell jokes?
Right.
And half the time I didn't want to tell jokes. My kind of style is just funny talk.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that in most places. And I realized I was repressing myself. I was literally compressing down on it, just not being able to be that funny. Right. So now I'm just like, I'm this like pun machine with dad jokes and this and that. And I love to see people's reactions.
Yeah.
I tell the stupidest jokes and people go, oh my God. And that would just make my day.
And then they turn around and chuckle. It was kind of fun.
Maybe reach for their Glock. I don't know. Oh, he gonna learn today. Yeah. But you get me.
What's been the funnest thing or the big learn? What have you learned during this podcast journey? Like, what has stood out?
Oh, 100%. I know exactly my answer. You want me to say first?
Go ahead.
All right. It's the fact that you seem to leave a lot of people in your life down below because you reach a level of competence almost from talking to so many people that it feels like they won't catch up, and you're kind of asking them to catch up, but they're not doing it because they're on a whole different path. And it's like the people I grew up with are just slowly, I wouldn't say fading away, but a lot of them are gone in a sense. They're just doing their own thing. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But that's just
It's a
me.
reality.
I turned 28 last March, so it's kind of like, this is it. You know what? And luckily, I worked my ass off to have this path. So I should be chilling, if anything. I do like kind of like reminisce and see that, but I appreciate the knowledge cluster that you get because it feels like firsthand experience, but also an intro into how to fit into people's shoes almost.
Yeah.
So the more you talk to guests and stuff, you're like, I want to relate to you. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Do this, that. And it's the little things, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of just doing it in general, I think.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, for me, anything that involves a podcast is just fun. I can
You just
go through the shittiest thing for the podcast. It's fun.
Yeah. You've been on many, too.
Yeah.
I've seen all of them.
And I've been on other podcasts before. I do my own thing, like he does his own thing, but the work that we do for the podcast is just so much fun. And that's all it comes down to. Like, we're doing it for its own sake.
The journey.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
The journey.
And we know we can create something to the point where it provides for us and that we're set.
Yeah. We've changed it so much, by the way. We've changed it like over and over. Like, we hate this table. Take that out. We're going to change this too. We're going to do that. We're going to change the colors.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he was like, are you sure you want to keep changing it? And I'm like, I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
And that was like episode 90. And I'm still like, whatever. 120, we changed again.
We're still changing it.
Yeah. So it's like, I think I started to realize that those moments are the growth moments. Those are the moments that are like solidifying the solid and then getting rid of the shit. And then you kind of just sprinkle on until everything is full again. And I think we're getting closer to being like 100%. This is the 2 a.m. podcast.
I don't.
We're getting there.
I kind of, I mean this in a positive way. I kind of don't want you guys to be at 100%. And the reason for that is one of my favorite answers is Walt Disney. And Walt Disney, do you know his famous quote?
Not sure.
I think I know what you're about to say. But
When he was building Disneyland and when they were almost finished, they said, when will you be finished? When will it be final? And his response was, as long as the human imagination exists, it will never be finished.
I love that.
Bro.
Yeah.
So
don't cap it. You want room.
Don't cap it. Yeah. So I don't want you guys to be at 100%. I want you guys to be at 99%, 98%. But the thing is to continue expanding and growing. And
yeah, it's kind of like if you get too comfortable, you're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like you said, you have so many ideas that you want to work on with the podcast. We've experimented with outdoor recording. We've experimented with, like, eventually we want to get to a point where we are in the most beautiful places on the planet and we're outside.
Yeah.
Drones flying overhead, everything.
Full studio recording. Like, I'm working on that. And I want to introduce visuals into podcasts as well. So,
What
like,
do you mean?
Grand Theft Auto style. Drone following you around. You got
Ooh.
lav mics, and you're just walking around.
But I think the drones are too loud. No.
No? Have you seen this? And even lavalier mics. I think if it's small enough, quiet enough, distant enough, it won't pick up anything.
That'll be enough.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be enough.
And I'm down. Like I feel like I just want to like experiment with these things. And the fact that I have these ideas, I'm like, I love that I'm taking it and like experimenting with it in podcasting, not really just like filmmaking or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like let's hop on something new. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because it
Why
informs
not?
everything else in your life.
Yeah,
It's going to help something somewhere. So why not?
exactly.
Yeah, I've done. The first few episodes, I was traveling. I was going to people. You know,
Very sick.
I'd put it fucking in that Pelican right there, and I'd strap that Pelican to my motorcycle. And on a
Hell yeah.
motorcycle, I'd take all the fucking mics and
It's
cameras
badass.
and fucking just. And it was fucking pretty badass. I enjoyed it. You know, fucking get out, set everything up, and
Yeah.
fucking.
It's how you want to do it.
It's the journey. It's what you were
Yeah,
saying.
Exactly.
It's
like
the
that.
journey, and the consequence of the journey is the experience and outgrowing people. You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. You know,
I have a question for you. Now, you know about flow state. Do you not?
no.
Sorry,
We did an
flow-
episode on flow state. So
We did an episode on flow state, but flow state is the in and out action, I guess, of extreme focus. It's when you focus on something extremely to the point where you almost go through like tunnel vision. This is the only important task right now, and you flow through it. Everything goes seamlessly. One good example of it would be, I think sports has really good examples. Like Zaid, for example. What's a good flow state moment for you?
it's basically when everything falls away. Your ego basically is gone, and it's only like it's uninterrupted focus on what you're actually doing. So time falls away. You know, hours can be compressed into seconds. Seconds can,
Yeah.
you know,
It feels
expanded
like
into hours.
I've experienced this, but I just want to understand what you mean by flow state. What happened in flow state? Time disappears, or you're being super productive, or you're being super productive and time disappears. Like all of the
it
above.
could be all of the above. So
Because I've done drives. Like I used to have this job where every weekend I'd be at a different spot, and I'd drive 5 hours here, 5 hours there, 5 hours here, 5 hours there. But there'd be moments where I was like
It's amazing.
done, and then I'd be like, what the
Whoa,
fuck?
yeah.
And it was always weird because it's like I was not even conscious, and then it's like cop, fuck, better slow down. Like I
you
wasn't
see
even
that?
paying attention, but I saw the cop and I knew to slow down, and then I'm like, oh wow, 2 hours.
it's like you and time are separated.
Right.
I swear to God.
So that's what you mean?
Yeah. It's like that. So
Yeah.
that can apply to a lot of things, actually. That can apply to, like, if you're editing. If you're editing a lot, you're going to be sitting there for 4 hours. You can hit it to the point where even outside noise is not apparent anymore.
Yeah.
You're in your whole world, and all your focus is going through that. Now, there's a lot of people that try to teach you how to, like, go in and out of flow state very easily so you can be productive all the time.
Right.
There's many like methods to do it, but the reason why I was gonna ask you if you have, because have you tried like pursuing bringing that flow back, like on purpose? Does that make sense? Like let's just say you have a task to do tomorrow,
Yeah.
and you want 100% focus. You feel like your brain's not really leveled yet, whatever. Do you have the means or the knowledge or strength to get to that point? To be like, I find that tune.
Right now, I would say no. Right now, it's very difficult to find that thing, and then the reason for that is because it's I carry too much responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, for me to fall in this flow state, like in a podcast, I have had many conversations where I've lost time and gotten very detailed in conversations, and I'm like, fuck, that shit was intricate, right? But some of the things that prevent me from that is the paranoia that the SD card runs out, or the camera powers off, or this is not recording, or that stops, you know, fucking, did you guys want more water? Or fucking, did somebody want a beer? Did I leave the fucking, you
Without
know.
breaking character.
Right, yeah, without breaking character, you're just looking at that stuff that the screen fucking shut off. Like, there's so much going on that you know. And then outside of that, it's I have a fucking 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old, and he's fucking hilarious and smart, and I got to keep his mind fucking fresh. So it's like I get into a flow with him, but then it's like, what's he gonna eat? Is he gonna eat it? Does he like that? What did he have yesterday? Am I giving him more pancakes? I better start giving him fucking pancakes. Did he have the chocolate syrup or the fucking?
Which really, that's a flow in and of itself. So.
Yeah, and that's a flow too. But like, you know, I just it's just too much.
Yeah,
it's just fucking too much that I'm worried. And this is why I kind of want to expand, but then at the same time I'm kind of fucking. I said this term the other day. I've said this term since I was like 12 years old as a joke, and then fucking somebody brought it to my attention. They're like, that was offensive. People didn't appreciate you saying that. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyways, it's sometimes I'm a fucking Nazi, you know. I was talking to somebody and somebody was like, does that being a fucking Nazi? And they're like,
no, that's 100%
How dare you?
How dare you?
I've heard that so many times.
I've said it's like fucking.
It's an expression.
It's an expression.
Yeah.
Stop being a Nazi. I'm not calling you a Nazi. It's like when you tell your wife, like, stop being a bitch. You're like, I didn't call you a bitch. I'm just telling you to stop being or stop acting like a bitch. You know,
call you a cunt.
Yeah.
No. Or when you call somebody retarded, like,
yeah.
to take offense to that, okay.
But if you're acting like retarded,
I'm gonna you know.
What is really a retarded person behind me gonna be offended? Like, hey, what did you call me? Wait a minute.
People suppress themselves. It goes back to what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone shoves that shit down because they're afraid of the mob or
it's sensitivity, bro. I've traveled. Look, listen. I've lived in Saudi Arabia for 2 years and Qatar for 1 year. I've learned a lot out of that, just because.
Saudi Arabia was like the Las Vegas or something back in the 70s, right? 70s, 80s?
Hell no.
No, but then it was it wasn't Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. It was what's
probably Kuwait?
No, not Kuwait.
Bahrain?
Iraq.
Iraq. I think Iraq.
Yeah.
I think Iraq was like they were saying was booming in the 70s and 80s.
And then it was booming later too.
Yeah, literally. Which I'm going to do a quick joke on that. Do you know why there's no Kmart's in Afghanistan?
Damn it! I feel like I can figure this out.
I don't even
go
want to
ahead.
think about it.
I can figure it out, but go ahead.
There's too many targets.
Zinger.
So bad. So bad. Anyway, I'm sorry. So you Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and you learned.
Yeah. So when I actually came back here, I felt fresh in the United States. I'm like, well, what did I miss out on, guys? Right. You know, and it's just. I came back and I'm like, dude, y'all are pussies.
Oh yeah.
Like, bro, like I remember like back home, this is what would happen. Someone would just mess with you. There's just, you know how there's like school bullies?
Right.
Over there, there's just societal bullies, like just going around throwing rocks at you, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. One hits my head. I'm like, what the hell was that? And I see some kid, he's like, he's just laughing.
Yeah.
I look to my right, there's like a dumpster. There's one of those broken chairs. So I guess one of the legs, the aluminum legs was coming off. So I just twisted it off. I ran up to him, and I was like, I'm sure this is legal. I know I'm not in the United States right now.
But
and I literally just started wailing at him.
Yeah.
I just got him on the ground. His brothers came out. They're like, wanna fuck your ass up, like all this stuff. The whole family came out. I was like, oh, yeah? I bring my family. So they're like 14 people. I bring 36.
Holy shit.
And those were like just regular moments in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So I come back
Well,
here.
those were regular moments. Those were regular moments in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay? Just to clarify, which
Exactly.
is even more wilder, but go ahead.
It's exactly. I wasn't alive like really back then, but like it's just like,
Right.
Yeah, I can see it even in the movies, you know. Movies have some sort of like real portrayal of whatever characters at the time, right?
Yeah.
So when I came back here, people can't even take a joke. You're like, what? Like back home, the only joke you weren't allowed to take was if someone spoke ill about your mother or direct family. Then you beat the shit
Or
out of
religion.
them. Yeah, or religion, pretty much. Anything else, we don't take things personal, right? Here, dude, it's like we're fishing for offense.
Right.
Which means you should triple down on being.
Hi, guys. Good morning. I'm here to be offended today. You know?
No, but
Looking for it.
And it's not the fact that if they get offended, like that's one part of it. It's the fact that if that person gets offended, they can tell 10 other people, and those 10 other people understand their offense.
We like you, so I'm offended too now.
Yeah, like, what?
We're just joining the train.
Nazi? Why would he say that? You're fucking from Canada. That's offensive.
Have you read
What?
anything?
You know, so, but it's funny. It's back to people choosing sides. You know, like what did they say that was so offensive? They said my shoes were ugly. But those are such beautiful shoes.
Don't
You know,
listen to them, baby. Yeah.
You know, and he attacked, and then all of a sudden that person gets 3, 4, and then the sister and the brother and 10 people now are defending, like the same thing. You're fighting for like, what? You hit me with the rock and I'm gonna hit you with the chair, and now you guys are fighting, but now we're fighting because you said something that fucking hurt somebody's feelings,
or you physically did something. So like the standard is like, my head was literally bleeding. All right. It's not like someone slapped me. Right. Like that was such a higher standard bar of like what's actually happening. But like, you're right. I think my girl tells me all the time, like she'll be complaining about something. I'm like, okay, and like, what did you do?
Right.
That's more important. Okay, great. Does that matter? Like there's nothing to really cry about. At the end of the day, that's just part of that environment. Once you exit that environment, do not take it personally with you home. Like, why are you packing it to go? You know what I mean? And it's just how you're right. It all goes back to government. It's just how we are raised. We're raised to be very individualistic. I think especially the past decade, it's me, me, me. And what's so funny, my cousin pointed this out. I met up with him in Turkey last year, and he was telling me, he's like, bro, y'all Americans have like some weird shit. And I'm like, you Americans, what are you talking about? I'm Palestinian, bro. But yeah, sure, I got an American citizen. And he's like, listen, like anytime you guys want to like do something from the heart or, you know, just be generous or some sort, why does it have to be like, here, take my car? Why can't it just be a car? Why can't it just be like, here, you have a car? Oh, I have my car that you can borrow.
Yeah, my mom says this shit.
And he's like, listen to your words. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. This is deeper than surface level.
Yeah.
And it's me, me, me.
My mom says that. My mom says, fucking English is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you go like, and I'll try to do that with her, you know. She'll be like, so I was with my friend Stephanie, and then later on we went to the store, and then she fell. And I'm like, who fell? Stephanie, I told you. I go, well, you should say that, you know, you went to the store, and after the store, Stephanie and you were stood together, and she fell. She's like, shut up. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you saying? Like, why are we? I already told you in the beginning of the fucking story that I was with her.
Yeah.
Like, you can't assume that. Well, what if somebody else came? Was the employee of the store? You know. But that's how Americans are. Like, we're so like it's a report. Like, you got to report to the government, or it's like a statement. You know. And then, you know, fucking I walked in at 3:33. Like, it's ridiculous.
Let me count my adjectives.
So I get what he's saying with that, because I've heard that many times.
Yeah, and it pisses him off specifically because he's just like, that's so like, I get that you guys work hard.
One more.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. Like, you go to this guy and you'll be like, oh, yes, I'm walking with this dude. And boom, bam, he fell to the floor. And like, and, you know, and he was hurt. And I was like, what was the boom, bam? Like, what do you mean? Boom, bam, bro. Like, you fucking, like, you know, there was a door and boom, ping, bang.
And you get the guy that wasn't listening. He's like, what happened?
What happened?
Like, that was a 5-minute story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but Americans are like, what was boom and bow and bing? And how did it happen?
Yeah.
Where, like, it's so.
Oh my God, is the dog okay?
Right.
That's another thing they complain about. It's like, you guys treat dogs better than.
I think a lot of this
I've said that all the time. Americans treat dogs, people treat dogs better than kids.
Oh my God. I heard a joke the other day. Some guy got up on stage. It was by a comedian. And he was just like, this past summer has been very difficult. My father died. And ever since then.
Yeah, I heard this.
You know, he saw that, right? And he was just like, kept going on with his story. And at the very end, he's like, yeah. And then I had to bury my dog this weekend. And everyone's like, oh. And he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I told you my
my
dad
dad?
died. And it was just crickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get it. It's a very outside perspective. But in the moment, I think dogs are cute, bro. You know,
I do think a lot of those symptoms manifest from just comfort.
Yeah.
We are just chronically comfortable.
too much time.
You could spend a month, even longer,
Yeah.
inside your house and not leave a single moment. Like, you could get food delivered, you could do your work, you could work remote, so forth, And I think that's a big problem because in these other countries, so-called third world countries, like they're just not as
labor all
comfortable
day,
as us.
bro. Labor, anything.
It's a generalization, but for the most part, the U.S. is a very comfortable society.
Very.
Too comfortable.
I was in Cuba, and we were in Varadero, and chilling in Varadero. Somebody screamed, "Shark, shark, shark, get out of the water." So all the tourists, shark, shark, shark. All the tourists run out. 4 Cubans run in, grab the shark by the tail, pull it out of the fucking water, and start stabbing it and killing it and fucking food. It's food for them.
Bro, talk about
is
how
gangster.
fuck.
Do you know how fucking crazy?
What kind of shark was it?
You're just it was probably like a 4 or 5 foot shark.
It don't matter.
I didn't ask.
Still in the water with it.
Element it lives in is it needs water.
But they knew it was shallow enough they can grab it by the tail. And by the time they grab it by the tail and pull it out, it's not gonna.
That's already. That just proves to me that they have the brain for it. They thought about it. They're like, oh, it's shallow enough to just
Yeah,
go
of
in.
course.
We do this all the time. Yeah.
We've lived on an island our whole life.
Oh, it's a
you know,
4-footer.
Yeah.
We got it.
It's amazing.
And I made the racist joke with, well, not racist, but the Target Kmart joke. So
Yeah.
I got to do one on mine, right? On Cuba, right? Do you know Cuba's national anthem?
No.
Roll, roll, roll. You're the one. That's fucked up, guys.
You're the one telling
What? But you guys are laughing. That like that.
Oh my god.
Because those are the funniest.
So now
jokes.
I balanced it, you know. So not racist, you know.
No.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, we're super spoiled. We're super spoiled. And I'll bring up another fucking story that came up. I was going to Vegas, and as I'm driving there, it was 2 a.m. Hilarious. There it is. We're closing with this. We're closing.
Yeah.
2 a.m. My wife and I were like, let's go to Vegas. All right, cool. So by 2 a.m., we were past Barstow, but before Baker. So that little no man's land right there. Or woman's, or they, or thy, or thir, or cup.
Sorry.
No cup land. Whatever. We're still going to get in trouble on this one, huh?
Okay. We have a whole gay episode.
Yeah? That's gay. Literally. But so around 2 a.m., our front tire goes out, pop. And fucking, we're in that, no person thing line, whatever. And we call Audi, and Audi's going to send a fucking tow truck. And we're like, hey, do we have to be around the car if we can get a ride out of here? And they're like, no, just get safety. It's fucking late. If you can get a ride, perfect. So we start checking Uber. There's no fucking Uber between Barstow and Baker. No. So then we call a taxi company, and this girl answers, and she's like, oh, yeah, this is my aunt's phone, my aunt's company. And, she's sleeping right now, but I could pick you up and take you guys. I'll take you in my truck. My wife and I are like, whatever. So this girl comes like 40 minutes later, 24, 25-year-old girl, American, dirty blonde hair, light skin, typical American girl, right? Mm-hmm. And she picks us up in this truck. Her story was so she was such a great person, but her story was kind of fucking crazy. And this is just to show you what's happening in America.
Yeah.
So we get in the truck. And the roof, the lining is like hanging. Like the old school trucks. Have you ever seen that?
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this used to happen to like older cars. So the lining would just fall down. Like the glue would just come off.
I do remember that.
And
it's like a little bubble.
Right. It's like a little bubble. And then like if you're sitting in the middle, it kind of like sits on your head like a sombrero. So this was going on, right? And I'm like, what the fuck are we getting into, And she's like, we're like, where are you from? She's like, Barstow, born and raised. And I was like, oh, that's fucking crazy.
Damn.
And then she starts talking about, yeah, my mom died when she gave birth to me, and now my dad died because of COVID. He was older. And I was like, geez. And I go, have you ever been to L.A.? And she's like, nope, never been to L.A. And I'm like, wait a minute. You live in Barstow, which is 2 hours away tops, and you never been to LA? And she's like, nope, never been to LA. I've been once when I was 6, and I just remember it was so hectic. I got scared. I never wanted to go back there ever again. And I'm like, dude, there's people like this that exist, that everywhere, let alone what's going on outside of America. Mm-hmm. So anyways, my point would be is like, enjoy life, bro, and mind your own fucking business. How about that?
That's very true.
Travel.
Maybe everyone would be happier.
Travel.
Unlock yourself. Jailbreak.
Like I want to go to Yosemite soon. We have to make a Yosemite.
And I ask anyone here, you traveled? Oh, yeah, I travel all the time. Went to Tahoe last year.
Yeah.
Oh, Tahoe.
Wow.
Heard it's nice. Have you seen
Well,
it?
here's the thing. America's got so many beautiful places.
It does.
Fucking, I mean, California is obviously the best. Duh. But there's a lot of beautiful shit to see in fucking America. Like a lot.
There truly is. Too much, actually.
But the world has a lot of shit to offer, man. The world's beautiful.
It's the operation of it, I believe, on the other side.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Like the little cafes on the outside. Everything here is interior, if you really notice that.
Interior?
It's very...
Here?
Yeah.
Interior sucks here, man.
I know, but...
Everything you walk into is
But let's
painted
just say-
white.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but like... think of a bar, for example.
Right.
It's a lot more internal than it is outdoor here.
Okay.
So if I go to like another coast in, I don't know, the coast of Turkey, like between where Greece is,
Just everything's outside.
everything's outside.
Yeah.
Like here, it's unheard of to hear of like a bar on the beach on the sand,
Right.
right? We don't have any of that stuff. So why don't I feel like a
You've never been
tourist?
to Miami, huh?
Well, Miami's a different story.
Miami's a different country, bro. Miami's a country.
I love reading Miami news, by the way,
Because hilarious.
because you're like, how the heck? Like there are some scenarios where you're like, my brain's, I can't think.
You can't think, yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but
And it's
God
wild
bless.
because if you look at the whole state of Florida, it's like you have Miami, which is like all South America. I mean, it's South America.
pretty
You
much,
know,
yeah, like little Cuba.
Like,
almost.
well, you have Little Cuba, you have Little Havana. That's a real thing. Like Glendale is the Armenians,
Yep.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Puerto Rico is a lot of New York. It's New York, Puerto Rican. But there's a lot of mix. But you have Little Havana, and then after Little Havana, you have like all of South America. Like it's fucking like all of some Venezuela, Colombia, fucking everything, Honduras, Brazilian,
Freaking wonderful.
like so like it's a party place, but it creates a different problem, and that problem is in California, people are like, the Mexicans are coming over and they're taking our jobs. What jobs? What jobs are Mexicans taking?
Straight up.
What fucking cooking, cleaning,
Yeah.
construction, all the jobs we don't want. Fucking Santa Cruz County and Monterey County, Central Coast, we produce, I think, 50% of the produce of the United States in the Central Coast. And when we have those droughts, that's why it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Who's working those fucking, picking that produce?
Damn right, the Mexicans.
You know? So not a big deal. You go to Florida, you have all of South America applying for jobs. And the problem is that they're salespeople, they're doctors, they're fucking lawyers, they're in real estate. So the job market out there is very competitive. Yeah. Very competitive. But it's a whole different country. But there's everything's outdoors there.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so it just depends where you go, and that's what it is. I think parts of Texas, you know, Corpus Christi, I heard they have like cool bars and restaurants and
Yeah. I feel like, well, for California to be such a touristy place, I do not feel like a tourist here. Like I've lived in other places where I'm able to be more of a tourist, and I feel like lately it's been kind of just been the opposite.
Yeah.
You get me? Like,
Explain that.
so why can't I be on the beach past 10 p.m.?
Oh, here in
I know.
California?
That's a rule I don't get.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just have like some firewood that I just want to go out and just do. It's nature, bro. It's earth. This
Right.
is the way I look at the world. The fact that I can't do something like a free beach at 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's retarded.
Well, I get off work at 9.
Retarded.
It is retarded.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we need to fix that, and it's just like going to like going to Tunis or going to like freaking Algeria or whatever. Just go to the Mediterranean Ocean, and you see that people are living, dude. 2 a.m. It's popping.
Yep.
Where? In the outskirts of the beach. There's no patrol cars telling you to like, yo, what are you doing? This, that. It's just let the people live.
Yeah.
In the cities, we will dominate as police force and whatever. But it's just like you could do things. And then opening up businesses like a lemonade stand on the beach, no one will tell you anything. Here, everything you got to pay
Forget
for.
about
So
it.
much
Look at
red
LA
tape.
parking, bro.
Yeah.
LA parking has gotten way worse in price in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Drastically. I remember paying for like $5 all day sometimes. And now it's reaching a point where it's like $60.
Dude, I just got tacos yesterday from a taco truck. I got 4 fucking carne de res tacos and 3 carne asada tacos with the drink. $30. I was like, what the hell?
Jesus.
discouraging to do anything outside your home. Like you're just like, I want to breed, grow, and do everything at home now. And that's what COVID kind of did. It's home based.
I started making my own fucking oat milk, shaken espresso fucking coffees because I was like, dude, these are like $7.
Yeah.
$8. There's a place right here called Alfred's.
Yeah.
They charge, you get 2 of them, it's $19 for fucking coffee.
How much is a smoothie these days?
Oh, have you been at Arrow One?
Arrow One's terrible.
Oh my god, dude,
awful.
they're so fucking expensive. It's so expensive. They have marinara sauce for like $22.
God damn.
Spaghetti marinara sauce.
Very nice.
They have they had a milk, an organic crazy milk that was like $18.
And what's funny is that all of those products are like generally bullshit.
Yeah,
They're just terrible.
yeah.
When you could just go like get a cheaper alternative that's
service.
actually more wholesome. Just like gotta.
Yeah. It's like everyone being a photographer these days. It's so funny.
Everybody's into photography.
Everyone's a photographer. You know
People
why?
are like, you should be a photographer. Like, Robert, we like your pictures. I was like, there's too many photographers. Like, I don't want to be that poser. I don't
Everybody's
have that
a
experience.
good photographer. There's no
Yeah.
bad photographer really, unless you're taking shitty, blurry images.
Yeah.
But like cameras do the work for you nowadays. So it's like everyone's at a certain base level, and things aren't difficult to do anymore because everything's handed to you. So let's make them difficult again. So we got to find these little corners of like, yo, I got to do this differently, and that is what will make you more different. I think.
I took a photography class in high school, and you know the teacher. The point was, you know, this is with film, and we had to develop and do the fucking dark box and put your film and put it in there and close it up, make sure it doesn't get
Warm up
exposed,
the
and then
chemicals.
change your chemicals exactly. But I hated that process, and then after doing that process over and over and over and over and over again, it just became very easy. And then you started realizing the hardest part was taking a picture, because you'll do that process and you'll be like, fuck, man, I should have been a little bit more to the left, a little bit more to the right. I should have zoomed out, zoomed in. I should change my aperture, whatever the case is. But one of the things that he talks about in photography is some of the greatest pictures ever taken was because the photographer was at the right place at the right time with the camera. You
That's
know?
it.
That's it.
That's all.
You're capturing the moment. People are like, no, we need to make this as perfect as possible. No. It's about the feeling of it. But yeah.
Yeah, but we covered a lot of fucking topics.
That was sick.
I didn't even know where this was going to go.
No,
You know, I knew it was going to be a cool,
That's most of our episodes now.
Yeah.
intricate conversation. It's most of my fucking episodes, you know.
I love it.
But fucking, let's do this again. Let's follow up.
Hella
So
damn
much
much
fun.
Where, real quick prediction. Where do you see the 2 a.m. podcast, in 3 years, 5 years from now? What's some of the goals?
Definitely going to have the headquarters. So the 2 a.m. headquarters is going to be a thing. We're going to have probably like a showroom that I want to kind of light up like the Dark Knight from the movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Kind of that whole overhead lighting. I'm going to do some like epoxy resin on the floors and stuff like that. I want to open up a showroom / studios for like exotic cars and things like that to come in and just pop in, take some photos, hang out, do all kinds of things. I also want the 2 a.m. headquarters to be kind of like this coffee shop that people can just join us in. You can watch the
podcast.
episodes from the outside, kind of like Krispy Kreme.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
want to
good
do that.
one.
That's kind of how I envision it. And
That's dope.
3 years. I mean,
just cool people, bro. You know, bring your bike. Oh, you got a Super 73 family? Come on in. You know, whatever the hell. Just cool shit. I want it to be like a creative house, pretty much. You know, people excited to be there
That's awesome.
and all that good stuff. Yeah, I can see it. It's going to happen. Don't know how long, but
You share that same vision?
yeah, definitely share the same vision. I mean,
with
metrics-wise,
Porsche GT3s for sure.
black
Or is it just-
or Nardo Gray, actually. Nardo Gray is a color.
All right.
Yeah, I see the same vision. I see this really as just a full-time thing, so traveling a lot. Copenhagen 1 week, Australia the next week. Like, actually just meeting really cool people. And,
Yeah.
and creating
And I would
something out of
love
it.
to, I love fitting people into things that I do. So like, I'm starting a printing business, which has already started. We're working on getting our second printer and a warehouse and all that good stuff right now. But eventually we're going to be doing acrylic prints and like sheet metal and that kind of stuff. So like along the course of business, you meet all sorts of different personalities, right?
Right.
And I love fitting people in. Like, I'd be like, I think I have an opportunity for you. Or like, maybe like, you know, the homie Yusuf like has, something going on, and he's looking for a specific person, and then somehow I met this person, and now it's just he does exactly what he's looking for. So it's like,
You want a strong community.
and and that's network. You're just linking people up, and don't be afraid to do that, because there's nothing like, I feel like the selfishness, when it starts to outweigh, that's when shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing dark work for yourself to help others. You're just doing it for yourself to be arrogant, which is, you got to keep it going. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love that, and I love that we met today. Like I said before, it's kind of like I released something into the air. I was paying attention to Robert, and I was just like,
It just happened organically.
it happened. Yeah, I was just like, that'd be sick. I think we should be on a podcast together. I swear to God, the next day he just hit me up.
Yeah.
You hit up, and I was on social media at that moment. I usually am not. That's the funny part. So I'm like, what the hell? But
I was so excited
I'm
when
just
you
gonna
told
handle
me.
this casually. Be like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been waiting for it.
Love it. It's badass.
Yeah,
What is it? And this is for myself. But what interested you? So I'm really curious of why you guys wanted to do a podcast with me, or you felt good. I mean, you guys are 170 plus podcast. I'm barely in the 80s. You guys have a bigger following. You guys like I'm fucking excited. You guys came here and like you guys are the big deal.
Yeah, it's genuinely.
But you guys are so passionate about also being a guest here that it like thank you, number one.
Of course.
And what is it like?
It's honest to God. I know our quality is high in production and all that good stuff. And yours was the only one that kind of like stood out to us, where it was just like that impressed us. Either the lighting, the setup, the guests you had, the quality of audio, and everything, and even the topics that you guys were discussing.
And dude,
Thank
you're
you,
a
man.
character.
And
A lot of people are not characters.
You're prepared. Like I was telling him, I was like, listen, because he's prepared. You can tell he's prepared. When you listen to other podcasts, you can tell someone's not prepared, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you have questions lined up, you're genuinely talking to that person. You can feel it, right? You're not just here to be like, yo, I just want numbers of episodes to just happen. That's what resonated.
No, every episode means something.
It's like-mindedness. You know what I mean? Like, we roam this earth not looking for podcasts. We look for like-minded people, and we felt like you were like-minded, so we're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And like, you can tell there's a lot of work being done in the production and in the like pre-production and post-production. So
I got goosebumps, man. It means a lot. Thank you, guys.
dude.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully we do this again.
Yeah, 100%.
Very
We have
soon.
to have you on and as well.
I would be honored. I'd be honored to be
Amazing.
on your guys' podcast.
Thank
And
you
like
so
I said,
much.
I'll get you guys a copy of this. You guys can publish it. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.